Hello and welcome to this episode of Nerd Bytes. Today we're talking about creating and managing some entities in New Relic via Terraform. You can see that I've got Synthetics open here, but I have no Synthetics monitors running currently. That's what we're going to change. We're going to go ahead and get some of those created in Terraform. So let's open up that project here. First thing we see is versions.tf. Here we're just telling Terraform that we need to use the New Relic provider. So we're adding that in as a required provider here. Then over in our main.tf file, we're configuring that provider with a couple of different attributes. Our API key, our account ID, and our region. So this is just telling in the background that Terraform provider where to send the resources that we're creating. Further down, we can see what those resources are. So we can see in this case, we're just creating one of each different monitor type possible in Synthetics. So a simple ping monitor, a simple browser monitor, a scripted browser monitor, and then towards the end, we have this scripted API. As our outputs for this, we are just outputting the monitor IDs. So we have the ping ID, scripted ID, API test ID, and the simple ID. So when we run this, that's our expected output. So let's go ahead and run it and see what it looks like. I'll open up a new terminal here in Visual Studio as part of this project. And the first thing we need to do is initialize Terraform. So this is just going to pull in the providers that we need. In this case, we just have the general Terraform provider and the New Relic provider as well. So very quick to initialize, and you can see that it has run successfully. Next, we will Terraform plan, and this is going to tell us whether or not there is a lot changing, or if we're removing any of these entities, or just adding entities. In this case, because we are starting from scratch, everything is an addition. So 6 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. Now that we've planned that out, we can run Terraform apply. And this is actually going to go into the background and start running those API commands in the background with Terraform to create those entities. I'll need to validate that with a yes, just because this can make some breaking changes. Remember our outputs that we specified? That's what we're hoping to see here, the monitor IDs, and there we go. We can see those, each of those 4 monitor IDs here. So now that has run successfully, we expect to see 4 monitors here in the UI when I give this a refresh. So refreshed, and there we go. We have each of those 4 monitor types: the ping, the scripted browser, and the simple browser. So this is a trivial example of creating some monitors via Terraform, but now they are being managed in Terraform. So if I need to make any changes either to the scripts or just to the monitor configurations themselves, I can do that in code and push out those updates as needed. And if I wanted to, I could come over to the Terraform registry docs for the New Relic provider and take a look at the resources. I could also add some alert conditions. I could also add a dashboard. I could also add any of these extra resources to that Terraform code so I can manage everything all in one. I can have the alert conditions targeting my Synthetics monitors as they are being created. I can have a dashboard ready to go and ready to be updated to monitor those Synthetics monitors as they're being updated and created as well. All managed in code very, very easily. Check out the links in the video description for this doc here to the Terraform registry, but also to a GitHub repo with that sample project so you can play with this yourself. Thanks for watching.